Today I sit with you on the morning of the full moon, just before the solstice, with a message and an invitation. I can sense that we need to organize around the movement of financial flows into bioregional organizing all over the world, to live into the story of a bioregional Earth, where humanity learns how to find the path acting in service to life. In the last year, we have been doing a lot of work to help catalyze and strengthen the ability for people to have shared language and shared context around bioregional learning centers, around the creation of knowledge commons, of educational ecosystems, and of bioregional funding ecosystems, so that it becomes possible for living landscapes to dream through the human beings who act in service to the sacred, to what is special and reverent about each place, so that we can begin walking the path home, to begin walking the path back into service with the great mother who has given us life, the planet Earth, our home. What I want to invite today is a way of dreaming and a way of organizing so that we can take action together. And I want to name a couple of key moments that we can leverage, that we can organize around as a point of focus for us to do this sacred work together at a planetary scale. As many of you know, in the Design School for Regenerating Earth, my partner Penny and I have spent 2 years engaging in bioregional activations where we would go to landscapes that were invited to by local people to help them imagine what their bioregion is, to imagine their life place, to organize around functional landscapes. These functional landscapes are watersheds, ecosystems, mountain ranges, coastal estuaries, wetlands, the organizing patterns of life, organized through the movement of water, through living systems. One of the ways that I see us doing this now is to bring a shared vision to the different networks that are place-based around the world. And I'm only going to name a few. I'm sure that I'm missing some, but I think you'll see the power of this vision. Think about groups like the Global Eco-Village Network that has been organizing around place-based reintegration into life all over the world. Or the Transition Town movement and the Global Transition Network, where people are organizing around peak oil and around transitioning their economies into local living economies. Or ecosystem restoration camps, which has evolved into ecosystem restoration communities. Or the Ecosystem Alliance that is helping to organize ecosystem restoration. The Global Earth Repair Conference that is coming in May of 2025 in Port Townsend, Washington, is a gathering call for people to come together around this vision. What I want to invite is that we organize ourselves around a shared strategy and that we each work with autonomy and independence around this strategy so that we can enliven and engage local grassroots action for the regeneration of the earth. So I want you to imagine all of the people who have financial resources around the world that want to contribute to addressing the climate crisis, who want to address biodiversity loss, who want to address the pollutants and the contamination of our air and our water and our bodies. What do we do to bring healing? It's quite simple, actually. We gather around bioregional organizing teams, who are the people that are working and collaborating with local leadership, people who are already acting in service to life in their local places, to help them to create shared visions and shared agendas for working together and collaborating at these larger landscape and bioregional scales. Always holding an understanding of the dynamic earth and how the earth connects us to each other, primarily through the movement of water. So the water that evaporates off of the ocean flies over the continents, lands on our mountains, bringing us snowpack that feeds our rivers, or in the tropics, like where I live in the northern Andes, to the Potamos, to these unique forests and wetlands in the high elevations that bring life down into the soil and flow it into life across the planet. Imagine if in all of our local places we begin to organize around these living patterns so that those who want to mobilize financial resources to support us can come through an entry portal, which is the bioregional organizing team, gathering the knowledge together for whole systems understandings of their place so that these financial flows can move as funding ecosystems in service to life. With this invitation, I invite you on this solstice, this time of inward reflection for those in the north and those who are living into the vibrant expression of life in the southern part of the earth, to dream with me. I already see several groups organizing in this way, and they're looking for their North Star. They're looking for their way of organizing together. And the way of organizing together is to help us organize locally around this planetary vision. As we do this, we can start to weave efforts as shared stories. Our shared stories of becoming bioregional, of becoming life expressed in place through the movement of water into the living ecosystems of the earth. I invite this because I already see it happening. I see it happening in the BioFi project, helping to invite people to organize themselves bioregionally so that they are structured and ready to receive the flows of nutrients, of the financial resources that will enable them to enliven this vision. I see this through groups like Open Civics and the Design Science Studio of Buckminster Fuller Institute, where they want to invite people into a process of creating shared knowledge, templates, protocols, processes for learning. And in what we're going to be doing in the design school, starting in March with a 6-month learning journey called How to Organize Your Bioregion. And what I want to invite is I want you to dream with me about how in the year 2025, we stop worrying about our broken institutions. We see that many of the leaders are people capturing and hoarding wealth for themselves with a psychopathic hunger for more power, for greed, for more wealth. And yet most of us don't want that. Most of us want to live in service to life. We want our children to be healthy. We want a future for humanity. And if humanity is to be part of the earth, it will be because we have organized ourselves to move toward the vision of a bioregional earth. If this is a vision that calls to you, if it's something that you are already working on, join us in the story of organizing your local place to prepare for the financial flows that need to come and support local people to grow agroforestry and agroecology systems, to practice permaculture and to do organic gardening, to bring regenerative education to children, to transform our local economies, to change what tourism means so that we don't go to a place to escape the broken economy, but we go to a place to seek living regenerative economies. This is something we're doing here in Barichara, Colombia, in a very powerful way in the northern Andes in South America. And it's something that we're doing collaborating with other bioregions, like those who are organizing the North Sea and the Atlantic along the western coast of Europe, or those who see that the Mediterranean brings 3 massive land areas together, Europe, Asia, and Africa, so that we start to see the planetary patterns of our connections. And that's what I invite you into today. If this is something you'd like to help manifest and make happen, join us in the design school for our learning journey on how to organize your bioregion that begins in March of 2025, or join with any of these other groups. And I can name more. 1,000 landscapes for 1 billion people organized by eco-agriculture partners, or the Common Land Foundation and the Bioregional Weaving Lab organizing in Europe, Africa, and increasingly moving toward collaborating in South America. And you can feel the pattern. And I know that we have many friends in Oceania, many friends in the island cultures, many friends in Australia and New Zealand who are thinking and already organizing in this way. Now what we need is a shared vision. We need the vision of an Earth Regeneration Fund that is the collaboration of bioregions to create their own funding ecosystems, sharing stories, sharing knowledge, sharing experience, and sharing a meal to comfort and support each other through these difficult times. This is what I invite. Will you join us?